Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you've joined us today because we are going to unpack a super specific but honestly incredibly common source of Catholic guilt. We're going to break down exactly what the Church teaches about praying the Rosary using modern technology. Whether you're firing up a smartphone app, finding a video on YouTube, or even dusting off a classic cassette tape, we're going to look at the facts and totally eliminate the guesswork here. Our goal today is to give you a clear, structured understanding of how this beautiful devotion actually fits into a busy modern life. So, I want you to picture a highly relatable scene. You're sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic on your evening commute. Or, maybe you've just squeezed into your seat on a long, crowded airplane flight. You pull out your phone, pop your earphones in, pull up a recorded rosary, and you hit play. But almost instantly, that little voice of doubt creeps in, right? You ask yourself, does this really count as me praying my daily rosary? Am I kind of just taking the easy way out and letting someone else do all the heavy lifting? Is this somehow a fake prayer? It's a question that trips up so many of us who are just trying to maintain our daily devotion while traveling, working, or doing chores around the house. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. Listening versus praying. To really answer this question, we have to draw a practical line in the sand between passively listening and actively praying. On one side, imagine you play a recorded rosary and just let it wash over you while you completely ignore the actual prayers to, say, focus on a complicated spreadsheet or just daydream out the window. In that scenario, it might be spiritually beneficial background noise, sure, but you didn't really pray it. Now, on the other side, we have active participation. This is where the recording says, Hail Mary, full of grace, and you consciously pray the Hail Mary yourself, right along with that audio guide. When the mystery is announced, you actively reflect on it. And that brings us to a wonderfully reassuring realization from our source material. You are not merely listening, you are praying. The recording is literally just a tool. Think of it like training wheels, or just a helpful guide to keep your prayers and your mysteries in the right order. Conceptually, it is no different from sitting in a pew and praying along with a group of people who are leading a public rosary. If you are actively participating, it genuinely counts as your rosary for the day. No guilt necessary. Moving right along to Section 2, the physical bead myth. So this brings us to what we can call the physical bead myth. There's this widespread misunderstanding out there that you absolutely must have a physical rosary in your hands for the prayer to be valid. You simply don't. The Catechism of the Catholic Church classifies rosary beads as a sacramental, which means they are a beautiful, sacred, and highly useful aid for counting. But the physical object itself isn't what actually makes the prayer a rosary. The real essence of the devotion is the interior prayer and the meditation, not the metal or wood in your hands. So if you happen to lose your favorite rosary beads, take a deep breath. You haven't lost your ability to pray. And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer flexibility of this devotion. Let's do a rapid-fire list of valid methods for keeping track of your prayers. You can use ordinary beads, a smaller finger rosary, your literal 10 fingers, a smartphone app, a recorded audio rosary, or absolutely no physical object at all. What actually matters, what truly defines the prayer, is that you are praying the words and meditating on the mysteries. All right, Section 3, navigating practical scenarios. Now let's navigate some practical, everyday realities, starting with a very serious, no-nonsense look at road safety. If you're behind the wheel, absolute common sense is required. You can absolutely pray along with the rosary on the radio, but there are strict do-nots to make sure you aren't distracted. Do not handle your phone while driving. Do not search for another rosary recording while the vehicle is in motion. Do not hold your rosary beads if they interfere with your steering in any way whatsoever. Never close your eyes to meditate, and please, do not allow the rhythm of the prayer to make you lose your concentration on the road. This point literally cannot be overstated. A rosary should never become a reason to endanger yourself, a pedestrian, or another driver. Your primary moral responsibility in that exact moment is to drive safely. It is abundantly clear. If the road becomes dangerous, or the weather turns bad, or traffic just gets chaotic, you must drop the prayer and focus entirely on driving. God does not want us to pray in a way that puts other people's lives at risk. Okay, shifting back to a slightly less intense scenario, what if you're a passenger or you're just out in public? There are several perfectly valid scenarios for using earphones. Whether you're traveling on a bus, sitting during a massive layover in an airport, waiting at a train station, flying on a plane, walking through a park, or just sitting quietly on a bench, using an earpiece is completely legitimate. The fact that the rosary is being piped through your earphones doesn't make your prayer one bit less genuine, provided, of course, you are actively joining in. But hey, that raises a really great question. What if you're in a super crowded public space? Or maybe you're sick in bed and you can't easily pray out loud? Well, there's an elegant contrast here between audible prayer and interior prayer. Genuine participation does not always mean moving your lips. You can pray the words completely silently in your heart while listening to the recording. The important thing is your genuine interior participation. God knows exactly what's happening in your heart. Which brings us to our final part, Section 4, the heart of the devotion. As we reach the climax of this explainer, we really need to shift our focus from how we pray with technology to why we pray it at all. So the crucial point is this: the recording is not doing the praying instead of you. It is helping you pray. This is the ultimate antidote to that commuter guilt we talked about at the very beginning. You aren't cheating. You're simply utilizing a modern tool to facilitate a timeless spiritual practice. Because, drawing on references from Pope St. John Paul II and the Directory on Popular Piety, we are reminded of the true definition and purpose of the Rosary. The goal is not merely to check a box and finish some mathematical quota of prayers for the day. The true purpose is to meditate with Mary upon the mysteries of Christ's life. The words we say are simply the rhythm that allows that deeper meditation to happen. To quickly solidify everything we've just learned together, let's do a rapid-fire review. Can you use the radio, your phone, or earphones to pray? Yes. Do you absolutely have to hold physical rosary beads? No. What if you just put it on in the background and only listen without participating at all? Well, then it doesn't count as you personally praying the rosary. It really is that straightforward. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly important question to reflect on as we wrap up this explainer. The next time you hit play on your daily commute, I want you to ask yourself, are you just playing a recording to fill the silence, or are you actively letting it lead you closer to Jesus? Thank you so much for exploring this with me today. Keep asking great questions, keep utilizing the tools you have around you, and I can't wait to dive into our next topic with you soon.